call the meeting to order. We'd like to welcome everyone. For those of you that are standing, we're going to have the dulcimers perform first, and then I'm going to assume that they're not going to want to sit through this. In my 10 years, we've never gone to the back lengthy meeting, so there may be some seats, so maybe in a few minutes we'll have some additional seats. We're not kicking you out. You're welcome to stay if you'd like to, but we're not going to hold you here if you don't want to. So welcome to everyone for coming. First we're going to do is rise to the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There's just something about having kids say that guys. Next on the agenda is the roll call. Let the minutes show that Kyle Art and Stacy Thornberry are both absent. Next is the approval of the agenda. First by Heather. Discussions or questions? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by David. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Moving into informational items, we have spotlight reports. We normally have one, tonight we have 3, so you guys are in luck. So first is the Elementary Dulcimer Club. So welcome. We can't wait to hear what you have for us. on the agenda is the honoring of the retiring Walton Verona educators.
We have 4 very special individuals who will not be with us next year. We have 4 individuals who are retiring from public education. And on behalf of the Board of Education, I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank Beth Dingus, Danny Train, Karen Rogers, and Peggy Schultz for their decades of service to the children and the parents of this community. I think Jesse Stewart, the Freedom County native, said that a teacher lives on and on through their students. And each of you have certainly made a lasting impact on the lives of hundreds of children in this community. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you, and I would like to present each of you with our tradition of excellence award tonight. Please come up.
You may? Please do. Never.
That was 15 years ago. I got a call from Woody McMillan. Coach, we got a math though. You got to walk around it. Any interest? No, Woody, I'm good. At the time I was coaching, I was teaching my daughter Brittany, who's back here. She was an 8th grader at Holy Cross. Today's her 28th birthday, by the way. My wife Gabe, who's here tonight, she was teaching down the hall at Holy Cross. I had another son at Holy Cross and one who had just graduated, so you know, it's pretty much my alma mater, that's where they're going to be. Then divine intervention stepped in and I came to Walton Verona. And I work for the best people, Ford, Dr. Adam Nash, Eric Fangman, etc. I've worked with the best people, teachers, support staff. It's just the best people ever. But best of all, I have taught and coached some of the most amazing kids. So as I move on, very, very bittersweetly, I might add, as I move on, until I'm gone, I will praise this school community. Walton Verona is an extremely special place, and it has been my honor, my privilege to have worked with the best and to have taught the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Davey. Next is the Boone County Youth Cabinet Kids.
Just so everybody know, I'm not a kid. That's a lot of words I wouldn't get you to say. Board members, Dr. Baker, audience, we've got a really great program here in Boone County called Boone County Youth Cabinet. Typically, the year usually revolves around local government issues, situations. Learn a little bit more about how our local government works. One of the capstone projects they had to do this year was focusing on social emotional learning, which, if any of you all obviously recognize, has been exacerbated greatly with the COVID-19 epidemic. With me is Dylan McCormick. He's actually the ringleader of the youth cabinet itself up in Burlington. And do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, first of all, ringleader isn't technically my official title. I wish it was. But yeah, the Boone County Youth Cabinet is a really great program. As Mr. Linville told us about, where kids really get a fantastic opportunity to engage with local government. It's something that I'm really proud to be a part of as a county employee. I'm really happy to bring to you guys here. We've got really great kids from high school this year with us, and it's put together a really great presentation that I think hits on some issues that are important to them, and I'm excited that we're able to help them put this together. So without further ado, let me take it over.
All right,
so first up we have incorporating community building and social inclusion in our schools. The COVID pandemic has left students feeling isolated and alone. Participation in clubs and group activities has increased. A more active community will get voices heard, and more involvement and connections improve students' mental health.
Our mentoring programs should be offered more at our school. Sign upperclassmen helping incoming freshmen navigate through the school. This establishes friendship and connection. Advertising for less recognized or known clubs. It gives more exposure to the clubs that people would normally know of or hear about. And then establish more community within small groups.
What you can do is hold community events like carnivals or picnics, and then you can host them at either the elementary school or high school here. More community service opportunities such as Wake Walton, plant flowers, pick up trash, and it's a good chance to get back to the community.
Students struggling with mental health issues feel isolated, especially because of the pandemic. Informational sessions for students with mental health issues should be as simple as a video played in class, and it makes it clear that it is available for help. Support groups such as it builds a community between students who are struggling with the same things as them, and it lets them know that they are not alone. Better programming under the SEL umbrella. Social emotional learning is an educational method that aims to help students of all ages better comprehend their emotions and demonstrate empathy for others. There is a section called self-management, where students work on their futures and goals, and this allows students to better control their responses towards different situations. While this is an important aspect of it, we should give each section the same amount of time during school. Making the time, our school should take the time where we can take a break from learning and meet with a group of people we don't normally see day to day. This time can be spent with an adult that we can talk to. This can be very beneficial because many students do not have adults in their lives or at home where they feel that they can express their feelings and emotions. This is a great opportunity for teachers to talk to their students one-on-one so they can see how students are doing in and out of school and get to know them better. We have something here called seminar every Wednesday. I don't know if most of you are familiar with it, but it's every Wednesday and it's about 50 minutes and we take time to go do clubs and stuff. And every Wednesday during seminar, we should be given the opportunity to go see a teacher or a group of students that are struggling with the same problems as us. It should be optional, not mandatory, because most kids our age don't want to be forced to express their feelings. And students should get the option to talk to fellow classmates. This can impact our school location where the distractions students may have in their daily life and align them to better mental health and achieve their goals.
Mental health resources within schools. Schools should better publicize mental health resources. Classes at the beginning of the year should provide the name of the school guidance counselors and let students know how to meet with, where and how to meet with that person. New students should also be provided with names of guidance counselors and their more information. Students should be provided the opportunity to speak with a teacher or someone they trust to help make students aware. Making mental health meaningful to students. Many students consider talking about mental health or consider talking about it as boring and uninteresting. Student-led opportunities to share experiences can help everyone's mental health. And then to build trust with students need to have trust in counselors to know that they will do what's best for students. And more counselors will result in a higher trust between the two and a lower student-to-counselor ratio. Take students' input on mental health education and create a plan. Students are usually the best judges of what their peers are affected by and interested in. A select group of students who make mental health education resources more meaningful to the rest of the school. And a student-led approach would also create a more positive school culture and environment to help students and staff.
All right.
lot of work and effort into this, and, you know, I'm hoping we'll learn a little bit of something from this, and I hope everybody got a little bit of the information tonight as well. All right, thank you all so much.
Are there any questions? You have questions?
Oh, yeah, but the spot.
I was hoping so. Okay, thank you guys for coming. Next on the agenda is the principals, the ECC, and the bridge report. Since we have such a lengthy agenda tonight, we are moving forward with those. Was there any questions on the principal report? ECC report? Bridge report? Okay. Next would be the attendance enrollment report. Rob, we're gonna let you do that real quick. Yes.
For month 8, ending month 8, our attendance percentage for the district, 94.87, so still pretty happy with that. Looking pretty good on our attendance percentage. Enrollment went up just a little bit, but as we know, that kind of balances out throughout the year. So we did go up by 5 kids this past month. Our attendance percentage winner for the second month in a row, our high school.
Unprecedented.
Were you that confident you didn't even bring it back? Okay, next is the construction report. Does anybody have any questions for Jeremy? No? Moving on to the superintendent's expense reports. Everybody have a chance to look at that? Personnel, have a chance to look at it? Next is other. Dr. Reed.
Board members, I'm proud to announce this evening that we received notification yesterday that our district was selected for the Read to Achieve grant. Yet again, some individuals in this room worked very, very hard on that grant, and we very much appreciate their work. So our district has received $62,000 to support that reading initiative at our elementary school. The second thing I have this evening is, I don't know if any of you have had the opportunity to look at social media. We had a pretty large event at our high school this morning in collaboration with the Boone County Sheriff's Department and the Walton Fire Department, an event that focused around good decision-making, safe driving decisions as we rapidly approach prom, which is tomorrow night. This is a great event for our high school students today. And I just have one other thing, just a quick reminder that Wake Up Walton is a little more than 1 week away. It's May the 7th, so if you haven't registered a team yet, please do so. It's a wonderful event. It's a great opportunity for students to give back to this community and get some community service hours. That's all I have.
Thank you. Next, audience of citizens, and we don't have any. So moving into the recommended board motions. First is the approval of the minutes for March 24th, 2022.
I'll make it.
First by David. Discussions or questions? Is there a second? I'll make it. Second by Heather. All in favor? Motion passes 3-0. Next is the approval of the minutes for the April 5th, 2022. I'll make it. First by Heather. Discussions or questions? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by David. All in favor? Motion passes 3-0. Next is the approval of the 23-24 calendar.
I'll make it.
First by David. Discussions or questions? Everybody good with option B? Is there a second? Second by Heather. All in favor? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Rob, and the committee for taking care of that. Next is approval of the treasurer's report. First by Heather. Discussions or questions? Is there a second? Second. Second by David. All in favor? Motion passes 3-0. Next is approval of the order of the treasurer, the bills.
Make it.
First by David. Discussions or questions? Is there a second? Second by Heather. All in favor? Motion passes 3-0. Next is the approval of the independent auditors contract for the fiscal year 2021-2022.
I'll make it.
Second by David. Discussions or questions? Is there a second? Second by Heather. All in favor? Motion passes 3-0. Next is the approval of the 2022-23 Fidelity bonds through Crawford Insurance for B. Robinson and K. Ryan.
I'll make it.
First by David, discussions or questions? Is there a second?
I'll make it.
Second by Heather. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next is the approval of the Ignite MOU for the 2022-23 school year.
I'll make it.
First by David, discussions or questions?
So I know that the last time we talked about this, you guys are gonna have a meeting with, the 8th graders who were interested. Did that meeting happen? And then what came of that?
It did, that meeting was actually the night of our most recent work session, so I was there, so Mr. Nash, would you care to speak about the meeting with the 8th graders who've been accepted to attend Ignite?
Yeah, we met with all the 8th graders. We had one that couldn't make it. We did an individual photo with them. Basically, the point of the meeting was just to lay out the expectations of going to Ignite, starting with the dreaded early transportation times, and the fact that it's, the phrase I use that night is, this is not an experiment, it is a commitment. So you are there for a year with that. So at the end of that, we received notification from one family that would like to no longer attend the Ignite and continue with their enrollment at WVISD. And everybody else was on board and committed to maintaining their end of their agreement and attend Ignite for the full year. So I think that meeting went very well, and I think it was well needed and well received. And individually talking to the students, you could tell some of them, you know, it didn't matter what hoops they had to jump through, they were content to do that, to get to experience the engineering program and computer science and stuff like that. It's something we just don't have here on the numbers. But it was really good just to have that FaceTime with the families and let them know that there was some extra work involved with that. And the negative fallouts of the academic slide if you have to come back more mid-year, mid-semester, that type of stuff. So it was a good meeting.
How many were there?
13.
Was that with the one that backed out or no? There's 12?
You really, oh geez.
I think it was
12
11 or 12, and then we had the one that.
12 minus
decided not
one?
to go. Yeah.
12 minus 1.
Now remind me, did we make them sign something that's committing them for the year? 'Cause
We
I
did
heard
ask
you
them
just
to-
say, come back mid-year.
No, what I said is we explained the academic struggles
Right.
of a mid-year, and we actually specifically showed an example of what happened in a previous semester with the child's academics. So they were asked to sign a letter of intent to be there with their commitment for the year. And then they acknowledge the academic risk that they could be at transitioning mid-year. That's why we're asking for them to stay.
So the MOU, when I was reading over it, it says like if they come back mid-year, it'd be 50% a seat. Are we holding them to the Christmas? Are we holding them at the end of the year? Or if they get there and they're a month in, I know we talked about this last meeting, then they still come back a month in and then the seat is prorated to that point?
I think we're holding them for a
The
year.
message I delivered.
Okay, I'm just making sure, 'cause-
The academic fallout
Okay,
is severe.
all right.
It is essentially changing from Gallatin County coming into Walton mid-year. We all know the struggles that come with that. So that was the message to the student, that you are committing to a year at Ignite.
I guess I was asking more on the seat side of things, not the students. That's what I want to know. So if they come back in a month or two, are we,
The payment to Boone County Schools is prorated
okay?
for the amount of time the students actually have.
All right, because it gave them half a year, so I just want to make sure. Okay, thank you for that message. Any other questions? Thank you, Nash.
You're welcome.
Is there a second, David? What's the first? Second by Heather. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next, the approval of the notice of intent to award email E-rate BMIC.
I'll make it.
First by Heather. Discussions or questions? Is there a second?
I'll make it.
Second by David. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next is the approval of notice to intent to award email E-rate to MIBS.
I'll make it.
David. Discussions or questions? Is there a second? Second by Heather. All in favor? Motion passes 3-0. Next is the acknowledgement receipt of the superintendent's personnel actions regarding FMLA leave. See the personnel employee number 1326. First by Heather. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by David. All in favor? Motion passes 3-0. Next is the approval of the NKCES letter of intent.
I'll make it.
First by Heather. Discussions or questions? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by David. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next is the approval of House Bill 678 resolution.
Make it.
First by David. Discussions or questions? Is there a second?
I'll make it.
Second by Heather. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next is the approval for an additional district special education teacher paid for by ESS/ER funds.
Make it.
First by David. Discussions or questions? Is there a second?
I'll make it.
Second by Heather. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next is the approval for an additional high school counselor paid with, I'm just going to say ESSER funds.
I'll make it.
First by Heather. Discussion or questions? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by David. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next is the approval for additional district-wide counselor paid for with ESSER funds.
I'll make it.
First by David. Discussions or questions? This is the one that will be split.
That's correct.
Is there a second? Second by Heather. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next is the approval for the additional fourth grade teacher paid for with ESSER funds.
I'll make it.
First by Heather. Discussions or questions? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by David. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next is the approval for additional district instruction coach paid for with ESSER funds. There first? There first? Motion dies due to lack of first. Next is the additional to the approval for the additional elementary RTI teacher paid for with ESSER funds.
I'll make it.
First by Heather. Discussions or questions? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by David. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next is the approval for the amended 2022-2023 classified salary schedule.
I'll make it.
First by David. Discussions or questions? Is there a second?
I'll make it.
Second for Heather. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next is approval for the amended 2022-2023 certified salary schedule.
I'll make it.
First by David. Discussions or questions? Is there a second?
I'll make it.
Second by Heather. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next is the approval for the amended 2022-2023 extracurricular salary schedule.
I'll make it.
By Heather. Discussions or questions? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by David. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next is the approval for construction bids for the Walton Road School paving 2022 and award contract to Rigler Blacktop Incorporated.
I'll make it. Good.
First by Heather. Discussions or questions as Emmett's. Discussion or questions? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by David. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next is the approval of the revised BG1 for the Walton Road School paving 2022.
Make it.
By David. Discussions or questions? Is there a second?
I'll make it.
Second by Heather. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next is the approval of the owner contract agreement for the Walton Road School paving 2022.
Make it.
First by David. Discussions, questions? Is there a second?
I'll make it.
Second by Heather. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next is the approval of schematic design documents for the wastewater treatment at the Walton Brennan Intermediate School. First by Heather. Any discussion or questions for Emmett? Is there a second? Is there a second? Motion dies due to lack of second. Next is the approval of the BG2 and the BG3 for the waste treatment at the Walton Brennan Intermediate School. First by Heather. Discussions or questions? Is there a second? Motion dies due to lack of a second. Next is the approval of the field trips. First by Heather. I don't have any questions, but I thought we had discussed several years ago that we wanted the field trips more than the day before they were going the next day. Because there are several ones that are either have gone or are going, they're very close to where, yeah.
They won't go.
Well, just because it happened that one day, and we had it one year on a Saturday at 8 o'clock in the morning, so they could go. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they didn't have it to us. So, yeah.
I will make that bridge.
Okay. All right, is there a second? She did. Second by David. All in favor? Motion passes 3-0. Next is adjournment.
Oh, my God.
This is, these other meetings have lasted 4 hours and none of them. First by Heather. Discussions or questions. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by David. All in favor? You got me kidding. Motion passes 3-0. We are adjourned at 7:30.